With the ABSA Cape Epic still fresh in the memories, if not the legs, of those who took part in the 16th edition of the Untamed African Mountain Bike Race, we're going to delve a little deeper into some of the stories within the race. South African cycling legend, former Masters winner and founder of Cycle Lab, Andrew Mclean, teamed up with Johannesburg businessman David de Lima to race as Team Cycle Lab in the Grand Masters category. This is the first of 4 episodes of Andrew and David's 2019 ABSA Cape Epic journey.
The ABSA Cape Epic is still the Tour de France of mountain biking and attracts all the who's who and the top riders from around the world, and it will always be the pinnacle. And I think many other events, and I'm thinking now Attakwas, Tankwa Trek, have really blossomed off the back of the ABSA Cape Epic. So it's done wonderful things. I mean, I'm in the retail business in South Africa, and we've really done well out of the ABSA Cape Epic and everything else that has flourished as a result of the ABSA Cape Epic. So Dave de Lima is a really close mate. I ride with him almost every single day. And in fact, I wasn't going to do this year's ABSA Cape Epic with Dave. I was doing it with another really good friend and unbelievable athlete, Adi Eindhoven. And Adi unfortunately got sick, so he couldn't race. And Dave, being a good mate, he hadn't found a partner. Dave was in great condition, so it made real good sense. We're in the same age category. And you know, we said, well, maybe it was a sign, and so we teamed up, and we've had a wonderful journey preparing for the Epic, because we ride together every single day, and now here we are, and we're not winning, but we're fighting hard to get on the podium, and there's one thing about us, we won't ever give up, and we'll fight right to the end.
I mean, Andrew and I were chatting before the prologue, and we said, you know, how hard do we go? Do you tap off a little bit, or do you go as hard as you can and try and get into a good position? So I suppose that the prologue for us, well, certainly for me, I put in a huge effort. And you know, you don't want to burn too many matches, obviously, in the prologue, or have a crash. But you know, perhaps the prologue for us is the starting point in terms of how you set yourself up for the race. So I think we had a good first day. But yeah, it's always a challenge, the prologue.
The prologue, as a percentage of the entire event, is such a small percentage that it's actually almost insignificant. However, every year we know that, and when we line up, every single year we go too hard on the prologue. So when we get to the end at Val de Vie and we look back, our team, myself and Dave, and I would imagine almost every other team will say, oh, we went way too hard in the prologue. And it's just, you've been training for 3-4 months, there's cameras, there's people, there's support, and you've waited for this day for so long that you almost can't help it. After 8 days, I mean, you need a calendar to time this event, not a stopwatch. And you're worried about a minute or two. It's just the hors d'oeuvre before the main course starts. Well, the Grand Masters category, I mean, the name is, I don't know where they got the name. I'm sure they could have called that something else, because Grand Masters really makes us sound old. But I mean, when you look at guys like Azevedo and Bart Brentjes has won the first gold medal at the Olympics for mountain biking. I mean, these are top guys. If you look on the overall, he's mixing it with some of the best pros still. So it's a really competitive category, and the beauty of the ABSA Cape Epic is it attracts the top riders in every category from all over the world. Of course, I'd love to win, and we train really hard, and we'd love to win, but if you get beaten by really good riders from all over the world, that's fun. You know, it brings out the best in you. It's a real challenge.
And the race is it's a cool mistress. I mean, you can train and race as hard as you like, and you can have one technical upset, and that's the end of your podium challenge. For me specifically, it's critical. I'd really like to be a worthy partner for Andrew, so it'd be nice to get onto the podium. But you know, if we don't get to the podium, that's so be it. You know, I can tell you one thing: we'll give 150% to get there. So that's just as important. And I think along the way I have a couple of laughs. And I said to Andrew, you know, for me, apart from racing Epic, it's really nice to be riding with a good friend, and we're having some fun out there as well.
Stage 1 is probably the most difficult day of the ABSA Cape Epic every year, because you're so well rested. You're kind of like a racehorse rearing to go, but you need to hold back, and your body responds quite differently from being in that rested state. It's almost like you're carrying too much water, you sweat a lot, you tend to cramp on day 1 because you push yourself too hard. A lot of people make mistakes on day 1, and the beauty of doing a few ABSA Cape Epics is you learn to hold back a little bit, to be a little bit more circumspect. The weather obviously played along. We had a big technical early on with our chain. We lost 6 odd minutes. We chased back, possibly in hindsight, we chased back maybe a little bit hard. But the beauty of cycling is, unlike I think running and most other sports, is you can push yourself really, really hard. You can go really, really deep, and you can recover almost completely overnight. I mean, you just got to think of the Tour de France. It's 21 days of 200 odd Ks a day almost, and the guys can race for almost 3 weeks. So you recover really well because it's not a weight-bearing sport. You're sitting on a bicycle, you recover a lot better than someone who possibly does the Comrades Marathon.